Is there another trap waiting for them this week that they need to evade?
So can I peel back the curtain a little bit here, TJ, and give people a bit? Yep. I'm pulling up my deep analytics now. So you and I talk about subjects every week. We do a crossover every week. You're one of my favorites to get to talk to, if not my very favorite, get to talk to each week. And last week, I brought the ECU game to you saying, hey, look, this is the biggest test BYU has gotten. They're going on the road. Expected to be a little bit closer than people were ready for. And if you watched the game, you would have seen a slow start from BYU, and you would have thought, man, the defense gave up 400 yards. A lot of that was garbage time, but still, BYU didn't look as crisp as they did defensively against Stanford or Portland State. That's kind of how I expected the game to go, with maybe a little bit closer margin in the score category. This week, there's a reason I'm once again going, hey, I've got BYU winning, and I've got BYU covering 6.5. But just buckle up a little bit and be ready for the upset alert. Be ready for the upset watch, because Colorado is still a good team. They want revenge. Deion Sanders is one of the great motivators in college football right now. He's in the locker room telling his guys, after their season has not gone exactly as planned, he's telling his guys, remember when you got your butt kicked last season to BYU? Don't let that happen again. Now, efficiency-wise, BYU, they force their opponents to start on their own 22 on average. That's number 1 in college football. On third down, they're number 13 in the country, allowing a 29% clip for the opposing team. Reason why, TJ, listen to this. 8.5 yards. That's the average third down distance for BYU opponents. That's really far. That's really good. This is the number 1 defense maybe in the country analytically. Deion and Colorado are still trying to figure out their quarterback game. But if there's one thing they're doing well right now, it's running the football. Number 35 rushing offense in the country. And they're not the worst team in the world. They're about average against the rush themselves. This is a Colorado team that has gotten better, slightly better defensively, and much better offensively running the football. I think Deion will try to control the clock here, will play a much longer game and not try to speed things up. And that plays into BYU's favor, but not to the tune of a 35-10 blowout, but instead to the tune of a 27-17 crapper. I'll use the word crapper of a game here for BYU. We still have not seen Bear Bachmeier, who did great as like the 6th best quarterback in college football per PFF last week. We've not seen him be Heisman level. We haven't seen him be a centaur to me, but I think he's good enough to win the Big 12 championship. I think he's a Big 12 championship caliber quarterback because of the infrastructure that BYU has built around him and the number 1 defense in the country, statistically, analytically, efficiency-wise. But, again, all this comes back to what I don't want to happened last year against Kansas. Lest we forget that Kansas game. What I don't want to happen is that BYU fans or BYU as a team, as a brand, they become Utah. I don't want them to become Utah in that, oh, we're going to win every game. Oh, we're just going to win this game. And then you have egg on your face because you get smacked around by Colorado, who, by the way, beat Utah like 55-10 last year.
When you look at this game, you also factor in the fact of being on the road multiple weeks in a row. Now, much shorter distance to have to travel, but being on the road back-to-back weeks and a late kick. Now, not as late, right? Kind of, normal time there, but 10:30 Eastern, but a later in the day kick. And that place, like Colorado, I know that they've had their ups and downs this year. That place gets rocking, right? And so if you let that crowd stick around, now, if you get up 17.5, 14.5, maybe the crowd starts to file out and find something else to do. But if you don't, and you let that crowd stick around longer and longer and longer, and you let Kaidon Salter continue to gain confidence and build confidence, that's where I think BYU could be in trouble. Do I think that happens? Probably not. I'm typically just going to go with the better team and not the extraneous factors that are on the outside of that. But I do think there is a recipe for the upset here, and that is what BYU has to avoid.
So, can I tell you, and this all comes from College Football Home on Twitter. He's got like 120,000 followers. They follow college football closely and do a pretty good job of getting consistent information. I mean, they pick games down to like Marshall versus USM. Like, they're all over random games in college football. They pick Colorado to win this game outright. And I obviously disagree with that, but it made me perk my ears up for the first time this week and go, well, that's a deep dive. Get this. So bear with me here numbers-wise. Bear Bachmeier, 42 for 63. Kaidon Salter, 48 of 72. That's pretty similar right there. Bear Bachmeier, 518 passing yards. Salter, 565. Okay. Salter, 4 touchdowns. Bachmeier, 4 touchdowns. Now, Colorado has had 1 extra game, but keep in mind, Salter has not started every game, played every quarter, played every down. He's a guy who's played the equivalent of about 3 football games, and those numbers are very similar. That is something that perked my ears up. Salter also leads the team in rushing this season, 153 yards in his 3-ish games worth of playing time and 3 touchdowns. So he's a mobile quarterback. With BYU seeing a mobile quarterback, and TJ at the same time, God knows who Colorado is going to throw out there at QB this week. I mean, you play Deion himself may strap it up, find some extra eligibility, and do it. But Salter last week, 18 for 28, 304 yards and 3 touchdowns. Granted, he was playing Wyoming, and we've learned that Wyoming's not that good. But at the same time, after seeing what Salter did at Liberty, watching him play multiple games where he was the stud, yeah. Like, and can I lean on this too? I believe Houston and BYU, though BYU is better, are built similarly. Rely on your defense and the offense will come. Rely on your special teams and the offense will come. Houston beat Colorado 30-18. That's probably about the same score we see this week. And in a game that's 30-18, you're just 1 extra interception away. You're 1 extra fumble away that Colorado returns for a touchdown from flipping one of those TDs and making this a 2-3 point game or even a 1 point loss. That's where I get a bit worried about, hey, what could Colorado do to BYU if they lull the Cougars to sleep?
Yeah, I love what you mentioned talking, rely on your defense. Don't feel like BYU's offense has to go out and win. Style points don't really matter, right?
Yeah.
You'd love to win by 30. Yeah, you'd love to win every week by 30. Style points don't really matter, right? Go out and let your defense control this game.
Yeah.
And you will come out on top. What you can't do is give a quarterback who can get extremely hot, like Kaidon Salter, extra opportunities, short fields, let the momentum kind of get going in his direction. That's the trouble spot for BYU. If they come out and play fundamental on the road, which is tough to do, don't get me wrong. If they can come out and play fundamental against good athletes and let their defense kind of will them to a win, I think they win this thing by about 10. I think they win it going away, and it could be more than that if some things break their way. Say the offense does break out. Say Salter does struggle. Say they don't even start him. Who knows? But that is the big point. You mentioned 27-17 earlier. Is that your score you're going with?
Yeah, I think I'm going to settle somewhere in there. And then, again, Utah fans, Arizona fans, Iowa State or Texas Tech fans will say, well, BYU's not a threat. I think BYU's a legitimate threat. Their defense will force 2 turnovers here. They'll win it by 10.
I will agree with you. Maybe I'll bump it up just a tad. 31-20 is what I'll go with. So I'll go with 11. I'll give BYU a point. I
do love you. I do. Colorado does not score 20 in any world in this game. That's the only thing. That's the only way I'll push back.
We'll be here, but next week when I'm right.
Yeah. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is where I go all fall long. With the NFL kicking off, FanDuel is here for you at FanDuel.com. You can currently place $5 bet. And if it hits, you'll get $300 in bonus bets if you're a new customer. $300 in bonus bets if your $5 bet hits for new customers. Quick, easy, best way to add a little energy to my Sundays. Makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. FanDuel.com. That $5 bet, if it hits, can turn into $300. $300 in bonus bets. Visit FanDuel. Do it today at FanDuel.com.